The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever, said Jacques Cousteau, the father of modern scuba diving. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Scuba, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. I learned that 4 years ago, but I only learned to dive 1 year ago. I always knew that I wanted to get involved with scuba diving, and it's really interesting to see how I got involved with it. It was our first international holiday after our marriage, and my wife and I, after a long journey, landed up in Malaysia. Another long journey, and we landed up in Lanka. We checked in, another long ferry ride, and we landed up at this wonderful place called Pulapaya. It's a beautiful place. If you were to be with me on that day, you would have seen turquoise blue waters and white sand. You would have heard the waves whispering to each other. You would have smelt the delicious aroma of our lunchboxes. You would have felt the soft breeze gently caressing your skin. So we land up there, and my wife says, I'm very tired. I don't want to do anything adventurous. I said, okay, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let's take a walk on the beach. Let's have a long lunch. Let's scuba dive. Huh? Non-adventurous and scuba dive. I want to go. Okay. So we went. We got on the boat. We went to the dive site. We put on our gear. And great big splashes. We got into the water. The first few meters, about 3 to 4 meters in depth, you can see the sun rays dancing along with the waves of the surface. You are surrounded by fish, hundreds of fish, tiny, colorful, curious fish. All you have to do is this, and you're surrounded by a shore. If you could hear them speak, I'm sure you would hear an excited chatter. Oh, look, maybe there's something to eat. Many of them do try and take a nibble. Now I know where fish bars get their ideas from. And I have all 10. A few meters down, and the turquoise blue water slowly dissolves into a slightly darker blue. At this depth, you really begin to feel the pressure of the water on your body. And you can only hear the sound of your own breath. A few more meters down, and at about 8 to 10 meters, the water becomes even more darker. That's where you see the big boys of the ocean hanging around. The turtles, the sharks, and the mantas. I'm sure if you could hear them talk, they would say, oh look, another one of those monkey people again. Why don't they stay on land? What's with all those bubbles? Hey, wanna go hang out with the dolphins? Dolphins are fun. And that's when I got to meet George the giant sea turtle. He was a massive guy, about 2 meters in length. Very nice person. He allowed me to swim alongside him. I could run my hand on his back. I could feel the hardness of his shell. I could feel the algae which had been growing there for so many years. He allowed me to touch his flipper, to feel the strength that he had. A few fin strokes later, and I encountered my first underwater sea tunnel. I was really excited. Yeah, my first underwater sea tunnel. So I got into the tunnel. When I was in the tunnel, I was shaking with fear. It was so cold, so dark. I didn't know what animal is going to come bite me. A few fin strokes later, I came out of the tunnel. I have never been happier to see the sunlight. By this time I was running low on air. So time to surface. We got out to the surface. My wife and I gave our tanks to the captain, and we were fooling around in the water, swimming around, snorkeling. And the captain was getting delayed for the next trip, so he was gradually turning shades of color. He went from normal, orange, red. He wanted to gently pull us out of the water. Then he comes up, leans on the boat and says, you know, the water in this island supports a lot of life. We have microscopic plankton, microscopic coral, and giant sharks. We got into the boat so fast, we could beat flying fish. Now when you are scuba diving, you obviously cannot vocally communicate. So you communicate using sign language. Now, as amazing Toastmasters, are you all ready for your first lesson in scuba diving?
Yes.
Right here, right now.
Yes.
Are you ready or are you ready?
Yes.
There are 4 symbols. I'm going to give you the second one because it's very typical. When I show it, you all have to shout, shark! Do a trial round. Shark. Louder, louder.
Shark.
Okay, so here we go.
Whale. Shark. Behind. Front. You. Shark behind you, right?
Welcome to scuba diving, my friends. Mr. Toastmaster.